Think about the last time you had a delicious, incredibly tasty cheeseburger. You were so hungry, you reached into the bag, you grab the box, you tear the box open, you smell the deliciousness, and you take this delicious burger and you put it in your armpits. Oh, it's so tasty! And nothing goes good with a cheeseburger than to pour down one of these delicious, cold, refreshing milkshakes. You down one of these bad boys and you're gonna feel so good. Oh, I just can't wait. So, all we're gonna do is just take a second. All right. But you see, the trouble is, somehow, even after doing all this, I'm still hungry. Well, it turns out that all of those molecules have to somehow get smaller in order to get into my bloodstream. And that's what this video is all about. After I get cleaned up, we'll talk all about that. Right now, I've got ice cream in my shoes, and as some of you are aware, that's kind of uncomfortable. So, see you in a few minutes. The process of digestion can be broken up into two big groups. The first we're going to call mechanical digestion, and that's simply taking big chunks of food and making them smaller chunks of food. For example, we have some potato chips here, and you can see on the plate we've got some pretty good sized potato chips. In the bag, we've just modified them, similar to the way that your teeth would change the size of food products, but they're still the same food products. If you look at the tray here, the chips that are on the tray are exactly the same chips, they're just a different size. That's mechanical digestion. Conveniently, I happen to have a spare quarter pounder with cheese, which provides us with another opportunity to explore mechanical digestion. Again, in mechanical digestion, the materials are broken into smaller bits, but they haven't changed chemically. They're just smaller. Let's give this a try. Now, keep in mind, this is the exact same quarter pounder. It's just in smaller pieces. Chemically, it hasn't changed, so this is mechanical digestion. Putting this thing in my armpit doesn't look so bad anymore, now does it? To understand the mechanics of the digestive system, we need to know how material moves. The process is called peristalsis, and it involves waves of smooth muscles that push food forward. This is the reason why you can swallow while standing on your head. I don't recommend it, but it would work. Well, we can't show you peristalsis easily. You can feel the waves of muscles going down your esophagus every time you swallow, but you can also use a similar process, a model of peristalsis, by looking at the items that we have in front of you. For each of the products you see here, you need to push the material from behind. If you think about how toothpaste works, if you press from behind, it moves forward. And mayonnaise, if you press from behind, it moves forward. And finally, again, peristalsis is the process of moving food forward by pushing from behind. Waves of muscles that move material forward. Before we can look at chemical digestion, we need to understand the different categories of foods that are getting digested. Different foods get digested in different ways. And it's also important to know that almost all of your foods fit into many categories. Just take a look at the nutrition label and you will see the amount of fat, carbohydrates, and proteins found in the material. What you see here are a small collection of foods that are high in carbohydrates. They also have fats and proteins in them, but they're here to represent the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates include all of the sugars and starches, and through digestion we're going to break them down into glucose. The body takes the extra sugar, the extra glucose, and changes that into fat. If you look on the screen, we've got things from very complex carbohydrates, the grains and the cornmeals, all the way over to the bags of sugar. Dead center is a plate of holiday deliciousness. All of these qualify as carbohydrates. If you were to look for a glycemic index online, you would see that different foods break down at different rates. For your health's sake, you want to try to emphasize those things that digest slower, that have a lower glycemic index. Let's take a second and let Google tell us a little bit about the glycemic index.
According to nutritiondata.com, the glycemic index is a numerical index that ranks carbohydrates based on their rate of glycemic response. Glycemic index uses a scale of 0 to 100, with higher values given to foods that cause the most rapid rise in blood sugar.
Fats and oils are the next category. Fats are those products that are solid at room temperature, and oils are those things that are liquid at room temperature. It's a fuzzy definition. Important to know that fats and oils are good for you in the right amount. You need them for vitamin absorption, healthy cell membranes, and it also makes sure that your lungs and brain and nerve cells all function properly. You can't live without fats and oils. Problem is, we sometimes take in way too many. They tend to be very calorie dense. The next category are the proteins. Meat, fish, chicken, eggs, lots of vegetable products like peanuts and beans, the soybeans that make the soy milk, dairy products such as the whey that makes the protein concentrate. All of these things are sources of proteins. Your body breaks down the proteins into amino acids and then uses those to create the proteins that you need, the muscles, things like that. They also create enzymes. Finally, we have fiber. Fiber is that nutritional product that your body really doesn't digest, but it certainly aids in all of the processes. It slows things down. It makes things work better. It also adds that texture that makes food delicious. Fiber will help control cholesterol. It can control your blood sugar. It may prevent certain types of colon diseases. It also promotes regular bowel movements. It's important again to remember that different foods fall into many categories at the same time. Read the nutrition label and it'll help you make wise choices as far as what to eat.